Hey guys, welcome to Matthew the Ogre versus the Alien Inside. Quick update, short episode, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. But update, I have an oncology appointment on Monday at 1 o'clock to figure out what the treatment plan is and how things are going to go. And right now, I am literally just stuck on my couch and bored and tired of TV and tired of sleeping. And really can't move because the more I move, the more I agitate the stent or the tube between my kidney and my bladder, then making it a pain to urine or use the bathroom. So yeah, this is kind of where I'm at. They put me on two medications to ease the discomfort of urination and the bladder. One turned my urine orange, which was the fun part, but in turn also agitated my urethra, which was counterproductive to what I needed it to do. The other one was working. It diminished the discomfort of the not catheter, but stent. But the past 2 days, I have been ridiculously sick to the stomach, nausea, very gassy feeling, really bad headache, exhaustion, and just felt like I was constantly on the edge of puking, and just, it was no good. So also not worth taking to cover the discomfort that I was going through. You got to weigh and balance these things sometimes. I did not enjoy either of those medications in the end, and would rather just deal with what I got. So, as for the podcast today, I was going to talk about my life. I was going to talk about my beginnings and where I came from, and my ADHD diagnosis when I was 5, and all of that fun stuff, and give you guys a bit of a history of me. I did not take any notes. I did write some notes, but I officially didn't put them into a podcast form for me to use. But I found myself this week in all the time that I had to sit on my butt, in a lot of thought. And too many times I either went down a nasty rabbit hole related to my parents or my kids. So part of me wants to talk about those things, those people, my parents and my children, and their experiences with me as a father. But I know if I do, it will incite some not very friendly discussions. My opinions don't agree with my parents, and I, as a result of my upbringing, was not a good father. I was a horrible father. I will be the first to admit that. I was abusive to my children, and because of that, I have very strained relationships with all 3 of my kids. It is a desire to fix my relationships with my kids, and it is a pain that I carry on my shoulders every day. I am not that guy anymore. I went through a lot of self-healing and reflection from about 2018, 2019 during COVID. A lot of time off, a lot of time to sit and think, and made some changes to who I am as a man and as a person, and has a person who wants to be true. And like I said in the first episode, if you do not have truth, you do not have good mental health. If you can't be truthful with yourself and who you are and your experiences and life, you don't have good mental health. That's the first step. You have to be honest with yourself. And as for my parents and the rabbit holes I went down there are a lot of experiences that I went through with my parents that I don't agree with outcomes. I don't agree with how they were handled. But these are my opinions and my experiences, my viewpoints. They are very different than the things my parents portray. And I'm not one to talk bad about people. I'm not going to talk bad about my parents. I'm not going to shed dark light on them per se. We have different ideas of how life is lived, and that's okay. And because of these things, I also have strained relationships with my parents. And, these are, in both instances, are very heavy things that weigh on my mental health on a daily basis. In the struggle to be true to myself and and true to who I am, there's always that voice in the back of my head, saying the opposite or the negative. And these are things that I deal with. In the instance of my children, how could I be that guy? Where did my rage come from? I know where it came from, and I for the most part have faced a lot of that head on and dealt with it. And I'm not worthy. I was a fuck up. I really messed up some great lives. I have 3 very, very beautiful, lovely, intelligent kids who are absolutely amazing in their own ways. And, I would love to have relationships with them, but, until we can have true, honest conversations or the willingness to have conversations, it's a rough road. And I'm not saying they're not willing. I honestly don't know. I haven't talked to my oldest son in over a year and a half. And my daughter, she's on her own journey right now, and engages on his journey right now. And who's to say things aren't going to change here in the future as I talk about things, I bring things up, and it's just these are the things that are weighing on me this week. And it's funny, it's time when you have time to sit still and let your brain actually work. It's amazing the things that come to you, and the things that you will talk about, and the things that you will think about and process and remember. But yeah, this week has been a struggle. I'm not gonna lie. I've got cancer, got kidney cancer. And, I'm questioning, am I going to survive this? Is this a once and done thing? Or because of, Lynch syndrome, is this going to be a continual thing for the next 15, 20 years? Am I even going to survive 15, 20 years? What do I do with this time? And I'll tell you what to do with this time. This is the time to mend relationships and grow relationships. And I will say this: family is not blood. Family is what you make it. The people you surround yourself with on a regular basis and who are true to you and who will stay true to you no matter what you've done or where you've been, that's your family. But family is not always blood. You know, my brother was family. I was close with my brother. You know, my best friend Melissa is family to me. My other best friend Ryan, I've known for 32 years. He is family to me. I will do anything for that dude. You know, it's family is who you make it and who you surround yourself with, and you keep close. So, with that said, I'm going to continue working on myself, and I'm going to continue trying to get adequate rest and do the damn thing. And yeah, this, like I said, this is going to be a short episode. I apologize for that. I had so much more, but to go down these rabbit holes between my parents and my kids, without an emotional response, from somebody or from myself, you know, it might not be a healthy point yet with this situation. But on the flip side, better now than later. So, I mean, it's a weigh and balance. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. It did not put me in a good place today when I came to do this, and I decided, you know what, we're just gonna sit and talk, and you know, I'm gonna give you a little scratch of the surface of what I am and who I am and where I've been. But for me to talk about my parents and my kids, which are a huge, huge part of my story and how I've gotten here, I don't know that I'm ready for that yet, and someday I will be. I promise you that. But until next time, guys, keep your heads clear. Keep looking forward. Keep pushing forward. Keep doing your thing. Keep rediscovering yourself. Until next time, talk to you guys later. Thanks.